San Francisco State. This is Candace.
And I'm Sakar. Today we are going to be discussing outrageous television. In particular, we will be talking about talk shows.
Am I too outrageous for television? Daytime.
If you're staying in an abusive relationship for the sake of your children, you must watch this show.
I really don't think that the first 8 years of my childhood happened.
Today is the day to make your escape plan. We'll tell you how.
What would you like to say to a woman who's watching this right now?
Do not stay.
Next.
Pinned in between her car and his utility truck.
Vicious acts of crime.
Tire iron.
Outrageous.
A lot of music, a lot of hair.
It's by far one of the most disgusting things I've ever seen.
Cheaters busted with their pants down.
What the hell are you doing? Who is this?
I think you're hard.
We only noticed that there was one head in the passenger side.
I've got it on camera.
Do you think you have that?
The cameras were rolling. You won't believe your eyes.
The video is steamy. The buster explodes.
Let's meet his wife. Please welcome her to the show.
What the heck are those things ever been doing out there?
We're not being here today, but we're in love. I can't believe what you just did to our dad, man.
Always starts in 3, 2.
Now you may ask, how do we classify outrageous television, frequently referred to as shock talk, tabloid talk, shows, or trash talk? Outrageous is defined as exceeding the limits of what is usual, not conventional, or matter of fact, going beyond all standards of what is right or decent. It is also looked at as an outrageous disregard of human rights and lacking any decency or good taste, sometimes even being described as a freak show. Television talk shows push the envelope with the discussions of topics deemed to be taboo.
So we asked Professor Miriam A. Smith to describe outrageous television.
I think Jerry Springer's quite outrageous. And there are a number of others. I mean, this outrageous is just that it's just gone too far. It's just too much.
Do you think that talk shows exploit their guests? If so, how? If not, why not?
Yeah, I think so. The people are so young and they stay there in the talk shows just for appears in the televisions.
I don't think so. I don't think they do. They spoil their guests. It's really, some shows are really informative, like the Montel show. There's a lot of stuff that I learned.
Well, I think in some cases they do. Jerry Springer, most definitely. Ricky Lake, for sure. Montel Williams with all his brings all those mismatched couples on and all those crazy guests and kind of bring them into the limelight as far.
Yeah, I think talk shows exploit their guests because, I mean, they're giving every deep and dark secret to tell on television to, I mean, a national audience of over thousands and thousands of people. I think they do it for the entertainment purpose to bring in viewers, even no matter what the subject is, like a Jerry Springer, if it's my midget mom is dating my 700-pound dad or something like that.
Of course, there are many different opinions on the matter, but let's take a minute to reflect on how all of this got started.
Bernard M. Timberg argues that television talk shows are the creation of 20th century broadcasting in his book Television Talk, A History of TV Talk Shows. He argues that because talk shows are relatively new, with no comprehensive history defining their evolution, it is difficult to consider them as genres entirely to themselves. Talk shows are a genre of broadcasting television. Although it is difficult to evaluate talk show history in traditional terms, it can be broken down into three major subgenres, which can each have their own unique history.
The television talk show genre began to emerge in the mid-1950s. The late-night entertainment talk show was modeled on the Tonight Shows of Steve Allen and Jack Paar, which aired from 1954 to 1961. The daytime audience talk show was modeled on the Phil Donahue Show, which aired from 1967 to 1995. And Dave Garroway's Today, which aired from 1952 to 1959, was the model for morning magazine format shows. All these shows influenced talk on television. Our intentions are to focus on the daytime audience participation shows.
Phil Donahue founded this format in 1967 in Dayton, Ohio. The idea was based on his early radio talk show entitled Conversation Piece, which aired from 1963 to 1967. Donahue and his young production team set out to reach a largely female audience who were at home during the day. Donahue and his team were willing to try this new approach in order to reach their target audience. With his new approach, Donahue pioneered the role of a host as a roaming mediator. He encouraged the live audience to question and speak up to the guests, celebrity guests, and experts. The show went into syndication in the 1970s and the 1980s. Phil Donahue had reached commercial success, something no one had expected. This was confirmed when Oprah Winfrey first began to host her own talk show. The competition between the two brought new viewers, publicity, and attention to the form. All of this led the way for today's talk shows.
According to Richard E. Vatz in his U.S. Today article, Donahue was dethroned in 1986 by Oprah Winfrey. His audience share plummeted from 30% to 14%, and young viewers left him in droves for the more hip Winfrey. Nielsen reported for the week ending on January 21st that shows like Dr. Keith and Greg had less than 2 million viewers, while Maury had 3.5 million and Jerry had 2.5 million. The copycats are not doing as well as the originals, but Dr. Phil and Oprah are still the most popular talk shows with 7.2 and 9.5 million viewers a week, respectively. Currently, there are 13 talk shows on daytime television. The younger audience has increasingly become a hot commodity, even in the political arena.
Talk shows are so popular because of economics and human nature. People are ravens because they like to watch others' misfortune for their own self-confirmation. By watching talk shows, people can compare themselves to the guests on the shows and feel better about themselves. Talk shows are able to evoke a sense of intimacy for the viewers and the guests, which make them feel close to the situation at hand.
Throughout the history of daytime talk shows, one has been around longer than the others. The Oprah Winfrey Show came into the picture early on and is still going strong. The show's thousands of fans and viewers are the same target audience that Phil Donahue set out to reach in the late 60s. Although Oprah is a pillar of success and moral high ground for daytime talk shows, it was not always that way. Just like other talk shows, ratings have dictated Oprah's style. Her show has changed several times over the year, but her ratings have remained relatively strong. On one particular episode, one of Oprah's fans was injured while racing into the studio. She filed a lawsuit against Oprah. Despite this incident in some of Oprah's rebel days, her fans have remained loyal. But how much influence does she really have over her viewers?
Considering the effects of Oprah Winfrey's like protest on beef and then the murder associated with Jenny Jones show, how influential do you think the talk shows are?
I don't think so. It's just for relax, and it's depend the program too. But I think so. It's more for relax. Entertainment is not for effect.
But yeah, they learn bad. It's well, good or bad. I mean, but you don't have to believe everything you see on TV. I mean, I seen it, and then when I listen to something they say on the TV, I just go online and check it out, see if it's if it's right, or go on the news and see, oh, let's see, is this really what's gonna happen, or whatever they talk about.
Oprah definitely has an effect on, how people, like consumers, what they're buying.